My name is Faith Gakanya Jala. I'm a community development officer. I also a mother of 5 and I am a leader in the community in various sectors. My father was a farmer as we were growing up. So cotton was very famous in those days, in the 1970s, early 60s, when I was born. It was used for various things. So as we were growing up, my father taught me how to harvest, because growing was going to be for men and harvesting was going to be for women mainly. That's how I got to know the cotton field and to understand how the crop is grown and harvested. To be honest, I never thought that I would come across familiar stuff like the cotton, the processing, how we process from cotton to wool, from wool to fabric. I did not thought of that. So it was so refreshing, the meal, and it brought fresh memories of the history of Derbyshire, connected to Nottingham as well as an industrial city, and it connected me to my roots, which is Africa, Zimbabwe. Yeah, I'm a 5G fashion business owner, do fashion and design, and I mainly focus on the African fabrics. I got very much interested in looking at the way things can be turned around to make something that is of daily use. So as a fashion designer, it brought some full understanding of how to function and the culture of the industry.
I'm Sharon Stevens. I write. I'm a teacher. I'm a mother and a grandmother. Yeah, I love the sound of water. I think I did something once. I think either my star sign or something, or there was something that indicated that that's the sort of thing that I genetically or astronomically or whatever it is pulled to water. And I do like being near water. I love the sound. I mean, I went through a difficult time a few years ago and I couldn't sleep, and I actually bought a mask, and basically I used it to make myself fall asleep, or to help me to sleep, should I say. And I've even got a CD with just the sound of water on it. So yeah, there's something about water that draws me. I was surprised how big it was. It was huge. I forgot how many floors there were, but there seemed to be, I think what I was thinking, that they seemed to put a lot in the space that they had. I was surprised by the height of the buildings. And I don't know why, because a lot of mills and things around that time, that's what they did. But I like the look of it. I'm very much a person that likes things in straight lines. So I'm not sure whether that's what attracted me to the way it looked. Yeah, I mean, for me, that mural initially, that's sort of like quite powerful in terms of striking, in terms of the faces. But in my mind, even though it was black and white, I was picturing it in colour. And I'm thinking about what the clothes would have been looked like, and how they perhaps would have been more ragged, perhaps. So although it was a black and white mural, in my head, I was thinking of it in colour and what the truth would possibly have been for them, and the fact as well, in the mural there didn't seem to be a lot of people. But I guess, obviously it's the artist's interpretation. But am I thinking, it would have been packed, the fields would have been packed with people. It's hard to think that my ancestors were part of this. And knowing as well that at some point Arkwright's family would have been given some money as well when slavery ended. And obviously they would have benefited from that. And I don't want to be too negative about it all, but that is the reality. They would have at some point given some compensation. You know, what would have been good is to find out did he do anything to help his slaves once slavery ended? That, you know, that sort of thing would have been nice to find out, whether he was someone who was happy about the slavery ending and actually did something to help the slaves that were working for him and his family.
I'm Errol Johnson. I've always enjoyed, certainly, landscape photography, trying to develop a bit more of the portrait side as well, but always had an interest in the outdoors and photographing nature. Certainly, it's the part of the photography I like the best. It was interesting to go to a place that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of myself. It was interesting to go to somewhere with such a lot of history. The most interesting thing I found about it was the multiple generations of women of the same family, in some cases working side by side, and almost as if the job had been passed down through their family. I find that very interesting because that's not usually the case these days. It's certainly in the UK. So yeah, it was. I felt it was almost an anachronism, John Smedley's, but a nice one. And you could really see what it meant to the community and the people who worked there. One of the goals of the project was to, you know, document and record our experiences. And I'm happy that my photographs are part of that. I think that's good.
So for the Derwent Valley project, we went on a few different trips. The first one was the water wheels, Richard Arkwright, and that was really interesting. But for me, the favourite was going to John Smedley Knitwear Factory. I'm a big knitter, I come from a family of knitters, so it was really interesting for me to see garments being made by machine knitting. I've never seen that before, I've only seen it done by hand. I managed to pick up this saucy little Smedley number while I was there, so I was very lucky, and it was incredible really to meet the people behind this piece and behind other Smedley pieces, and to find out that we make knitwear of this quality in Britain. Who knew? So following the visit to John Smedley, I made some knitwear of my own, and this is a piece of self-made quality British knitwear. And here is another piece of self-made British knitwear. Bam! Boom!
Yeah, so I'm a creative artist using the photographic still camera and a video camera to document my culture, my life journey. Well, I was born in Nottingham, but my first memories are in Sheffield. So I grew up in Sheffield, and we was the only black family in the area. It was predominantly white, so I don't really have a major issue with being in a white-dominated area. We was the only black children in school, so that was from the age of probably primary school to 9 years of age. So I loved the countryside. I came to Nottingham with a Sheffield accent, and everybody they didn't even know what I was saying. So it was kind of like, Derby's beautiful. I love Derby. But the experience of going into the factories was very unusual. I felt from perspective of looking at the old transatlantic slave industry, viewing the whole process of slavery, and it came back around to the John Smedley, where we was actually now viewing white people in the factory making garments from cotton. It's almost like an historical journey where we came back around. So I was quite shocked. It took me a long time to actually process what was taking place. It's actually pulling a lot of emotions out, because I'm having to go back to Richard Arkwright. He was actually called the father of the Industrial Revolution when it came to cotton production. I didn't even know that. I lived on Arkwright Walk in the Meadows, so I didn't know he was such a predominant figure in UK history. But it was really nice to see a group of black people actually going out. And my daughter even mentioned this. She says to me, I don't see many black people out there, Dad, doing creative works in groups. So I think it was really a nice experience to be doing something really creative in a black group. And I think we need to bring this to the younger generation as well. You know,